All right, hey guys, if you are with us, thanks for watching Fox 5 DC. I just wanted to say you are watching right now a live stakeout outside the confirmation hearing room of Neil Gorshuch. Thanks for watching. I do want to send my deepest apologies to our viewers we had an issue with the sound this morning, and the interview that I had with Carlton Joyner, the Painter Man DC, there was a sound issue. So I'm deeply apologize for that. We didn't get that sound. Really interesting story. I hope that you can head to our website, head to our Facebook, and get a little more information about his story. We will have the volume fixed for you guys in the future. For now, this is it. I'm Molly Nevola here with Fox 5 DC, and we are staking out the confirmation hearing of the Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch, who is facing some heavy-hitting questions today from the Senate, and we'll bring that to you live when it returns.
What about something similar?
Well, I know, I just walked.
morning. So I was on tripod. You never roll this one. This is just interview.
Yeah, we did it today.
Yeah.
Doesn't work follow it very well. It's a very limited move.
So just doing it for fun, right?
So wait, what about all these follows? Shaw.
Right? I'm the one yesterday. Like anything, isn't it? You'll get different opinions from different people. It's not a good question. Just tell me what you want to do.
Water off for you or you?
All right, guys, coming up at 1 p.m. today, we have the White House press briefing. That's in about a half hour. I'm also trying to get to live the Aaron Hernandez double murder trial, which is going on in Boston. We're going to see when they come back from lunch, see if I can get that to you. We have our GoPro up and running, the other GoPro, so we're still getting things fixed. Again, so sorry to our viewers who didn't catch the sound earlier on our awesome interview with the artist, DC, the Painter Man DC. You can check out his event on H Street on Thursday night. He will be doing a fundraiser to sell some of his paintings, and more details are on his Instagram, PainterManDC. So for now, I am Molly Nevola here with you guys. Having a little technical difficulty today in the studio, but we are on Capitol Hill mostly today, watching Neil Gorshuch get confirmed. He's facing some questions from the Senate today, and they've been pretty interesting so far, so we will bring that to you as it comes back. People are taking breaks. Take a quick little look at the cherry blossoms, a recent little video here of the state of our cherry blossoms in this cold weather. All right, guys, bringing it back to me. We are back from lunch at the Aaron Hernandez double murder trial up in Boston, and our sister station, Fox 25, has that for us live. I'm going to bring you there where, let me get a little information for you. Alexander Bradley is testifying for the second day in this trial. If anybody is a Patriots fan or New England follower or anything, this was obviously a big blow to the Patriots, big case. And now finally it is in trial. So let's take you there live, courtesy of our Boston station.
Lost my deal at this point.
Okay. They didn't pull that back knowing that you had these types of weapons on you, right?
No,
And that you carry these weapons.
Objection. Sustained.
That you threatened to kill Aaron Hernandez with these weapons.
Objection. Overruled.
Can they take your deal back, right?
no.
Now, sir, yesterday you talked about the fact that, and even today, when you talked about how you didn't know shit about this case on your jail calls. Remember that?
Yes,
And yesterday you told the ladies and gentlemen of the jury that the reason you said that was because you didn't want to incriminate yourself.
correct.
Okay? And you, of course, were concerned about incriminating yourself because that would be a bad thing.
Correct.
Okay? And in fact, jail calls, when you're speaking on the phone in the jail, it constantly reminds you these calls are being recorded, right?
Correct.
Okay? So you're a smart guy, right?
At times.
Okay? And one of the things that you know when you're in jail is you don't say anything on the phone that's going to jam you up, as you like to say, right?
Whose words are those, sir? Jam you up. Whose words are jam you up?
Your words. Do you recall ever using the words jam you up?
The objection is overruled.
Can you show me, please?
I'm asking you a question. Do you recall ever using the words jam you up?
I don't recall offhand.
Or jam myself up?
I don't recall saying those exact words.
Now, you recall on, hold on, I have to- Do you recall making a phone call to Brooke on October 6th, 2013?
I do recall making phone calls to her.
Brooke Wilcox.
I can't validate the date, but yes, I recall making phone calls to
Okay.
her.
And you recall, while you're on the phone with Brooke Wilcox, you asked her to get one of your wolves on the phone.
No, I don't recall that.
Do you recall asking her to three-way in a gentleman by the name of Larry Brown?
It's a three-way in, Mr.
Yeah.
Brown? I don't recall having a three-way, Mr. Brown.
Because you know that they're illegal to do on the jail calls, right? That you can't call someone and then have them three-way someone, right?
Objection. Now overruled. Did you know that to be the case?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to play this tape for you and ask you if you can recognize your voice, sir.
Objection, not enough.
Overruled.
Back it up a little bit. That's okay, just a little bit. So.
Yeah, he brought it last night. He let me at Navyville.
Whose voice is that, sir?
That's my daughter's mother's voice.
Brooke Wilcox?
Correct.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, it was 50-50. I took the 100 out to give to your mom to keep the credit. So, that's all set.
Just make sure you keep this phone the one I got.
Is that your voice, sir?
Sounds like it, yes.
Plug Ellie real quick for me.
What did you just say right there? Plug who?
Gotta rewind it, I couldn't hear it.
Play that again.
Uh, plug Elwin real quick for me.
I said plug Elwin real quick for me.
Okay, what's that?
That
What
was
does that mean?
for her to call my friend, connected.
Okay, who's she calling?
L, like you said.
Okay, Larry Brown?
Correct.
Okay. So, wait. So when you testified to this jury a moment ago that you don't make three-way calls in the jail call, that was not true.
I never testified to the jury that I don't make three-way jail calls.
You didn't just say that you knew that it was illegal to do a three-way call?
That's different. You asked me if I knew if it was illegal. You never asked me if I ever did it.
I did ask you if you
Two
did.
separate questions.
Put a question, please.
All right. All right, let's go ahead and play it.
Yo. What up, man?
What up, man?
Shit, what up with you?
Shit, that's how we be good.
You put the pressure on the names in that jacket?
No, I ain't.
What are you referring to? Put the pressures on them.
I don't recall.
I'll see you at sidebar.
Looks like our video is getting a little shaky there. I guess they're taking a little break for the trial. We're still in a stakeout position on Capitol Hill. You can see pictures here. There's Capitol Hill, a little bit of movement, waiting on the confirmation hearing of Neil Gorsuch to return.
Again, folks, those of you just joining us, you are looking at live aerials.
I'm going to come in a little bit here and bring you some live aerials from our sister station in Phoenix, where a man apparently fell down a 15-foot manhole at the corner of Scottsdale Road and Doubletree Ranch Road in Phoenix. Check this out. There it is. And you can listen in to our sister station there in Phoenix, give some more information about this, if we have sound on it.
And for those viewers that have been joining us throughout the morning for the Neil Gorsuch confirmation hearing.
You guys are hearing the voice of our digital journalist in Phoenix, who is giving some more information about what she's showing on this feed of this man who apparently fell down a manhole. They're efforting him out of that, and we'll listen to what she has to say.
Continue with the manhole rescue. Also, just a quick update. Fox 10 reporter Linda Williams is on her way to this scene now. Hopefully, we'll be able to chat with her once she arrives at the scene of this rescue.
We can talk about anything.
Woo! All right, guys. Hey, say hi to Gary McGrady.
How do we know who's watching?
We are joined by
Do we
him.
have a list of these people that are watching?
Yeah, right now. Okay, we can go to our feed and kind of see. There's a few people watching.
And somebody says, "Where's the sound?"
I know. We had a messed up sound situation. You guys know. I told you I was so sorry this morning. But we're back with our sound. We had a technical difficulty in the room. There's a million things going on in this room. So.
Okay, it says 2 people are watching now. Give me your phone number. We'll just call you. We'll just talk to you. Right?
The phoner. It's probably people in the newsroom. Okay, so Gary's here.
Oh no, one's watching now.
Oh no.
Somebody went away. Who went away?
And it's behind on that, you see.
It is?
So you can see like it's
Yeah, no, I
streaming.
know.
All right, so what are you covering today, Gary? This week?
I think today I'm just doing weather.
Okay.
I don't think we've got a lot of reporters out on the Montgomery County story. And so today just doing, I think, some weather. I don't know exactly.
Any
Most of the time when I come in here, I don't know what I'm doing.
I know you had a later day yesterday, later hours.
Yeah, I worked late. I worked late last night. So we've increased our audience by 100%, by the way.
Yes.
That's a good. We've gone from 1 to 2.
I love
You
that.
should have never. You should have never shown me that.
It was 14 at one point.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a different thing.
Okay, so we're just starting this. So.
Yeah, it's a brand new concept. If you're watching, hey. If it's people in the newsroom, hey.
What?
It's not Kyle because it's right there.
I love it though, and this is
we've
there's a lot of future in this.
14 was the thing. Yeah, and once we put it on other platforms, it's gonna be more.
Right.
But it's fun to have visitors and I didn't know you went to Texas Tech. That's so cool.
I did go to Texas Tech many years ago. I'm not dressed for broadcast yet. I was running errands this morning before I came in. So later on, I'll go by the stylist and see what we have to put on today.
So we like just bringing in like different people around the newsroom, all different topics, throwing it to different feeds. We have a lot of different things going on in the nation today. And this morning we had the cool artists, and unfortunately we didn't have the sound, but glad you get to see that. So it's a medley of stuff.
I know.
So we'll see what they put you on today and what you get to chat about.
I think more than anything, I'll probably just be doing weather today.
Yeah.
But who knows? And then the Blossoms.
Yeah.
Have you talked about the Blossoms?
Yeah, and I have a little bit of footage, the recent footage that we have. Let me see if I can bring that in. What do you know more about them now?
Well, I think that I've become a bit of an expert here.
Okay.
With this the last several weeks, and so a lot of them have been damaged. A lot of the blossoms have been damaged. So there's two varieties of trees down there that make up the thousands of trees around the basin, and the Yoshinos are the trees that are the most abundant. And they feel like they've lost 50% of that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. But it could have been worse. Because, I mean, we got so cold, right? And a lot of the buds were out. So the buds that were exposed, I think that's like you're looking at video of stage 4 or something like that.
Oh,
okay.
There's
6 stages. Yeah, there's different stages.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so they're going to lose about 50% of the Yoshinos. And they feel like the peak bloom for the Yoshinos, it's just going to kind of be an extended bloom. And it's sometime next weekend, they think, is when what didn't get, I don't want to say killed, because I don't think that's the right word,
damaged.
but damaged by the weather, so will start coming out. So there's going to be color next weekend.
Okay.
And then there's going to be another round, because there's Kwanzaa, something like that.
Yeah,
trees. There's a whole lot of those as well, and those have not been damaged at all. Okay.
What's the difference? They're more like white.
It's just I think so. Yeah. I think they are the white ones, and then the Yoshinos are the pink ones.
Yes.
I don't know exactly.
I think that's
about
right,
that.
but we're not sure.
So anyway, and once those come out, usually early to mid-April, somewhere in that time frame, those will be peak color. None of that has been damaged.
Okay.
So basically, the Yoshinos are 70%, okay, of the trees down there.
Okay.
With 50% of those gone. So then you add in 35% left, right? Half of the 70, half of the Yoshinos, and then the other 30% Kwanzaa, one of those. And so we're going to have almost 70% of the trees will actually bloom.
Okay.
The total trees, okay?
And that's a lot.
And it could have been a whole lot worse than that.
So that's good.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
I know. I looked up there. It bounces around.
It bounces. It's a bad day for us. We had an issue. So, great. Okay.
there's just not. What are we? There's nothing going on right now.
I know.
I'm looking at the White House. There's no sun out yet.
I know, it's cloudy and colder.
It's in the
gonna get warm
it's in
this
the mid
weekend.
50s.
Actually, say we're going to say it today.
73 degrees on Saturday.
That's huge.
Okay, and I made a joke last night that we
Yeah.
would be 70 degrees on Saturday by 3:42 p.m.
It's a joke.
Well, I was it's like 6 days away. I gave him an exact time.
Oh, that you can't say it.
No, Sean Yancey said.
She was like, no way.
No, Sean said, what's the exact time? And I said, well, okay, I'll give you an exact time for 70 degrees on Saturday.
It's possible. It will.
Probable.
Yeah, because that's the hottest time of the day. That's the hottest time of the day.
Yeah, probably not now. Now the hottest, warmest time of day would typically be, kind of later on, because with the time change and all that. With the time change.
Expert meteorologist.
I wouldn't say that.
Yes.
So what else are we talking about?
We got the boring stuff on Capitol Hill.
I'm not that.
We got Aaron Hernandez. We got, that's it. I wanted you to cover kind of what you're covering today. It sounds like it's mother.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Usually he has the best stories,
But
so that's why we're going to bring him in here.
Yeah, but
I honestly think he
again,
gets the best stories.
So much is going on out there with this, especially with this Montgomery County thing. I think there's a huge focus on that. And honestly, I kind of am.
The Rockville thing?
Yeah. And so when there's that going on, I'm kind of like the last one to have a photographer, the last one to pick up anything. And I think once the weather starts getting nicer, there'll be a lot more things for my style to go out and kind of cover.
And there usually are things that they throw you that are your style. Anyway, they're usually more in abundance. But anyway, today is just what it is. But yeah, so you're around now for a little bit? Hanging out in the newsroom?
Till the end.
All right.
Okay. How long does your show go here?
We're going to just roll till about 1, just because we're in these like incipient stages. But later date, it'll be when we have some more viewers. It'll be a little
where
longer.
where does this platform go? I'm very interested in this whole thing. You're eventually going to roll it out on YouTube.
It's
already
on
on
YouTube. We're hoping, because YouTube is an interesting kind of platform.
Yeah.
And certain crowds watch it. We're hoping to also have this exact link on Facebook, because Facebook's a big thing.
With Facebook, I mean, it's
and granted, we're already
incredible
posting,
amounts of viewers.
we're already posting live stuff on Facebook, so you'll see things in their entirety. But like my show will be different with like reporters and cool people coming in here to kind of add some flavor. So Facebook, and the app and the website, so you can kind of access it through our actual website.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So thanks for creating some fodder. Bye, Gary. Thanks for coming in.
I gotta go change my clothes.
Yeah. Came from the gym or something?
I don't have to, but maybe I should.
All right. Bye.
Okay, maybe I'll have something more fun tomorrow to talk about.
Yeah, he always will. He will. All right, so that was Gary McGrady, our weather guy, but he always gets the best stories, so I wanted to bring him in here to show you. We're going to go back to Capitol Hill. We are back in session now with Neil Gorshuch, and like I told you earlier, we're trying to bring that split screen so you can see his reaction to his questions, or the questions that he's getting from the Senate. Let me bring that to you. Here we go.
When it comes to access to justice, I've written on this topic. I've worked on this topic for the last 6 years together with many wonderful people on the Rules Committee, trying to make our civil litigation system cheaper and faster, because it takes too long for people to exercise their Seventh Amendment liberties. And I can tell you, together with my colleagues, when we found that the level of representation of inmates on death row was unacceptable in our circuit, a whole bunch of us, I can't take too much credit, tried to do something about it. I can tell you that when prisoners come to court, pro se handwritten complaints, and I see something that might be meritorious in them, I appoint counsel. That's my record, Senator.
Can you describe your relationship with Professor John Fennis?
Sure. He was my dissertation supervisor.
When did you first meet him?
Well, whenever I went to Oxford, so it would have been 1992. Well, it could have been 2 or 3, somewhere in there.
And what was his relationship with you, or you with him?
He was my dissertation supervisor, and I would describe that as a relationship between teacher and student. And he was a very generous teacher, particularly generous with his red ink on my papers. I remember sitting next to the fire in his Oxford office. It's like something out of Harry Potter. And he always had a coal fireplace burning, and sometimes whether I was being raked over the coals. He did not let an argument that I was working on go unchallenged from any direction.
So that was over 20 years ago that you first met him?
Whatever it is, yes.
Do you still have a friendship or relationship with him?
Last time I saw him, when I know I saw him when he retired, and there was a party held in his honor, and I remember seeing him then, and that was a couple of years ago.
Did he know you were from Colorado?
I don't know. It must have, at some point, come out in our conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And do you recall saying some words of gratitude for his help in writing your book?
He did not write my book, Senator. He did not help write my book. I wrote my book. I certainly expressed gratitude to my dissertation supervisor in a book that's basically my dissertation.
I think you were quoted as saying in 2006, you thanked Finnis for his, quote, kind support through draft after draft.
And there were a lot of drafts, Senator. I mean, golly, that was a very tough degree. That was the most rigorous academic experience of my life, and I had to pass not just him, but an internal examiner and an external examiner, and that was hard. That was hard.
In 2011, when Notre Dame ran a symposium to celebrate his work, you recalled your study under him, and you said, quote, it was a time when legal giants roamed among Oxford's spires.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You called him one of the great scholars.
Well, and Oxford has a stable, and it's part of the reason why it was such a privilege. I mean, out here as a kid from Colorado, and I got a scholarship to go to Oxford. I'd never been to England, to Europe before. And at Oxford at that time, they had John Finnis, Joe Raz, Ronald Dworkin. H.L.A. Hart was even still alive then.
So let me, if I can, read a couple statements from Professor Finnis. In 2009, Professor Finnis wrote about England's population. He said England's population had, quote, largely given up bearing children at a rate consistent with their community's medium-term survival. He warned they were on a path to, quote, their own replacement as a people by other peoples more or less regardless of the incomer's compatibility of psychology, culture, religion, or political ideas and ambitions, or the worth or viciousness of those ideas and ambitions. He went on to say,
and guys, it looks like a really interesting trial for Aaron Hernandez is back. We have Alexander Bradley testifying for the second day in Boston. So I want to bring that to you live. It just came back.
Later around 2011, correct?
I believe we became friends a little prior to. I can't exact the dates, so.
All right. So, in actuality, prior to this incident, you were only his friend for about a year.
I don't believe that to be true.
A year and a half?
I can't put it, I can't exact it. Well, you can tell me.
You can't, well, you testified about how close you were and how this friendship is, but you can't give us any context as to how long you were friends before this incident occurred?
I like to believe.
You only met him 2 years
probably
earlier.
a year and a half.
Okay.
That might be accurate.
All right. So a year and a half is how long you know him. And when all these text messages are going on, it's really just 2 years tops, right? My point is you're not lifelong friends.
Your point is correct.
Okay. And you are, at the time of this incident, 30 years old?
At the time of
the shooting?
The matter at hand? Yes.
And Aaron was 22?
If that's his age. If that's
22
age
years
was at
old?
the time.
3 years out of high school?
3 years out of high school, you said?
Yes. He had just gotten drafted.
That wouldn't be 22 to me, but I don't know if that's 22 to you, 3 years out of high school. Usually
Yeah.
3 years out of high school, you're more like 20 or 21.
Okay. Your Honor, I was going to load up some video now, but I think this is a good time to break for lunch.
All right, can you have that loaded and ready to go at 2 o'clock?
I certainly will.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a lunch recess with the...
All right, guys, looks like they are taking a lunch break there in Boston, so it was not the best timing for me to bring you to that, but that was interesting to see sort of that trial is ongoing. It's still going. Seems like it's going to be forever. We'll take you back quickly inside Capitol Hill before we wrap this show up.
Access to justice. I've spoken about overcriminalization publicly. Those are things I've done, Senator.
And what about LGBTQ individuals?
Well, Senator, there are. What about them?
Well, the point I made is...
They're people.
Oh,
and
of course.
You know,
but what you said earlier was that you have a record of speaking out, standing up for those minorities who you believe are not being treated fairly. Can you point to statements or cases you've ruled on relative to that class?
Senator, I've tried to treat each case and each person as a person, not of this kind of person, not of that kind of person. A person. Equal justice under law. It is a radical promise in the history of mankind.
Does that refer to sexual orientation as well?
Senator, the Supreme Court of the United States has held that single-sex marriage is protected by the Constitution.
Judge, would you agree that if an employer were to ask female job applicants about their family plans, but not male applicants, that would be evidence of sex discrimination prohibited by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act?
Senator, I'd agree with you. It's highly inappropriate.
You don't believe it's prohibited?
Senator, it sounds like a potential hypothetical case that might be a case for controversy I might have to decide, and I wouldn't want to prejudge it sitting here at the confirmation table. I can tell you it would be inappropriate.
Inappropriate. Do you believe that there are ever situations where the costs to an employer of maternity leave can justify an employer asking only female applicants and not male applicants about family plans?
Senator, those are not my words, and I would never have said them.
I didn't say that. I asked you if you agreed with this statement.
And I'm telling you I don't.
Thank you. In Wang versus Kansas State, the case involved a cancer-stricken professor. You wrote an opinion that noted that EEOC guidance commands deference, quote, only to the extent its reasoning actually proves persuasive. EEOC's enforcement guidance on pregnancy discrimination provides as follows. Because Title VII prohibits discrimination based on pregnancy, employers should not make inquiries into whether an applicant or employee intends to become pregnant. The EEOC will generally regard such an inquiry as evidence of pregnancy, discrimination, where the employer subsequently makes an unfavorable job decision affecting a pregnant worker. Do you find this instruction to be persuasive?
Senator, there's a lot of words there, and if you're asking me to parse them out and give you a legal opinion, and I fear that you may be, I'd respectfully say I'd have to study it in the course of a judicial case.
Well, let me bring it right down to the operative words. Whether employees should or should not make inquiries into whether an applicant or employee intends to become pregnant.
Senator, it sounds like you're asking me about a case for a controversy, and with all respect, when we come to cases and controversies, a good judge will listen. Socrates said the first virtue of a good judge is to listen courteously and decide impartially.
I think you know why I'm asking these questions.
No, this one I don't.
The reason I'm asking is because about your views on pregnancy women in the workplace is because two of your former students from legal ethics and professionalism class last spring wrote to this committee to say how troubled they were by your comments in an April 19th class. It was a gender-targeted discussion regarding the hardship to employers of having female employees who may use maternity benefits. One of these students signed her name publicly to her letter, which is a pretty brave thing to do. That student didn't just make this issue up after you were nominated. Last night, the University of Colorado Law School confirmed that she had voiced her concerns with administrators shortly after your April 19th class, and also confirmed that the administrators told her they would raise this matter with you, though they never actually did so. When we receive information like this, which raises questions about your views and conduct on important issues, I want to get to the bottom of it. I mentioned that to you yesterday in my opening statement that I would be bringing this up. So I just want to ask you to confirm. Did you ask your students in class that day to raise their hands if they knew of a woman who had taken maternity benefits from a company and then left the company after having a baby?
No, Senator, and I'd be delighted to actually clear this up.
Please.
Because the first I heard of this was the night before my confirmation hearing. I've been teaching legal ethics at the University of Colorado for 7 or 8 years. It's been a great honor and pleasure. I teach from a standard textbook that every professor, well, I don't know if every professor, a number of professors at CU and elsewhere use. It's an excellent textbook, Professors Lerman and Schrag. One of the chapters in the book confronts lawyers with some harsh realities that they're about to face when they enter the practice of law. As you know, and I know, we have an unhappy and unhealthy profession in a lot of ways. Lawyers commit suicide at rates far higher than the population. Alcoholism, divorce, depression are also at extremely high rates. Young lawyers also face the problem of having enormous debts when they leave law school. And that's a huge inhibition for them to be able to do public service, like you and I are so privileged to be able to do. We talk about those things. There is one problem in the book, and I'd be happy to share with you the book and the teacher's manual so you can see for yourself, Senator, which asks the question, and it's directed to young women, because sadly this is a reality they sometimes face. The problem is this: suppose an older partner woman at the firm that you're interviewing at asks you if you intend to become pregnant soon. What are your choices as a young person? You can say yes, tell the truth. The hypothetical is that it's true, and not get the job, and not be able to pay your debts. You can lie, maybe get the job. You can say no. That's a choice too. It's a hard choice. Or you can push back in some way, shape, or form. And we talk about the pros and the cons in a Socratic dialogue so that they can think through for themselves how they might answer that very difficult question. And Senator, I do ask for a show of hands, not about the question you asked, but about the following question. And I ask it of everybody. How many of you have had questions like this asked of you in the employment environment? An inappropriate question about your family planning. And I am shocked every year, Senator, how many young women raise their hand. It's disturbing to me. I knew this stuff happened when my mom was a young practicing lawyer, graduating law school in the 1960s. At age 20, she had to wait for a year to take the bar. I knew it happened with Justice O'Connor. Couldn't get a job as a lawyer when she graduated Stanford Law School and had to work as a secretary. I am shocked it still happens every year that I get women, not men, raising their hand to that question. Thank you for the opportunity to clarify that, Senator.
And I wanted to give you that opportunity. I told you yesterday we'd get to the bottom of this, and I'd give you your chance to tell your side of the story. You made a point yesterday of talking about your 4 heroes, and one of them was Justice Jackson. And I went back to look at some of his cases.
All right, guys, some hard-hitting questions, obviously, from the Senate, but that was an interesting answer. I wanted to keep that on that topic about women and children. I thought that was pretty fascinating. I'm going to round it out here, guys, and close it out. I'm Molly Nevola here, your host at Fox 5 Live here in Washington. We are going to say goodbye for the day. Promise you no technical difficulties to come. We are going to make sure we figure this out. But thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Have a great night.